You mean to tell me they weaponized entertainment? Supreme Commander Zixtal's secondary breathing sacs deflated in what his species considered the equivalent of an exasperated sigh. That's not possible. The reports must be wrong. First Observer Kree settled all 4 of her sensory stalks onto the holographic display, watching the footage for the 12th time. With all due respect, sir, I've analyzed this data personally. The humans didn't just weaponize entertainment. They turned their entire cultural output into a psychological warfare system, and we walked right into it. The Supreme Commander's scales shifted from their usual dignified purple to an embarrassed mauve. Of all the species in the known galaxy, humans had seemed like the easiest target. Their planet was divided into competing nation-states, their technology was barely space-worthy, and their military capabilities were laughably primitive compared to the unified Galactic Armada. And yet, here they were, 3 months into what should have been a routine conquest, watching their entire invasion force unravel. "Show me again," Zixtal commanded, his voice carrying the weight of someone who knew they'd made a terrible mistake, but needed to understand exactly how terrible. Kree adjusted the holographic display, bringing up multiple video feeds simultaneously. "It started with something they call memes, sir. Our cultural analysts initially dismissed them as primitive information packets meant for entertainment. We were wrong. The screens showed various images and short videos that had begun circulating among the invasion forces. Simple things at first. Pictures of Earth creatures called cats in improbable situations, humans doing stupid but entertaining things, and something called Rick rolling that had somehow infected their entire communications network. Our troops found them amusing at first," Kree continued. "Then they started sharing them. Then they couldn't stop sharing them. Productivity dropped 47% in the first week alone because everyone was too busy trying to understand something called Dat Boy and why he was, quote, coming." Zixtal's facial tentacles curled in disgust. "Surely our warriors have more discipline than that." "That was just Phase 1, sir. Phase 2 was when they introduced our forces to something called binge-watching." Kree's voice trembled slightly. "They have these entertainment series, hundreds of them, thousands, each designed to trap the viewer in an endless cycle of just one more episode." The commander watched in horror as the statistics scrolled past. Entire battalions calling in sick because they had to know if Ross and Rachel would finally get together. Strike teams missing their deployment windows because they were halfway through something called Breaking Bad, a whole carrier group going AWOL after discovering Game of Thrones. But the real killer, Kree said, pulling up another set of data, was their music. Their music? They have these things called earworms, sir. Songs specifically engineered to lodge themselves in the brain and repeat endlessly. Our soldiers started listening to them as a way to understand human culture better. Now we can't get them to stop. Listen. She played a clip from inside one of their forward operating bases. Hundreds of warriors, each from different species in their coalition, all singing in broken English. Baby shark, do-do-do-do-do-do. Zixtal's color shifted to pure white, the color of absolute terror in his species. "Turn it off! Turn it off now!" But it was too late. He could already feel the melody taking root in his neural pathways. "It gets worse," Kree continued, her professional demeanor cracking slightly. "They've started something called social media challenges. Yesterday, an entire platoon of our most elite shock troops spent 6 hours trying to perfectly choreograph something called a TikTok dance. They didn't even notice when the humans simply walked past their position and disabled their heavy weapons." The Supreme Commander slumped in his command chair, all 3 of his hearts beating erratically. "How? How did we not see this coming?" "We did all the standard pre-invasion research, sir. We analyzed their military capabilities, their industrial capacity, their technological advancement. But we never considered that their primary export wasn't weapons or technology. It was distraction itself." Kree brought up more footage. Invasion troops taking selfies with local humans instead of capturing them. Warriors spending their combat pay on something called microtransactions in mobile games. Entire command centers grinding to a halt because someone introduced them to cute animal videos. "The humans knew exactly what they were doing," she continued. "They didn't fight us with guns or bombs. They just kept entertaining us until we forgot we were supposed to be conquering them." "Surely some of our forces are still combat ready?" Zixtal asked, desperate for any good news. "Well," Kree's sensory stalks drooped. "The Third Fleet discovered something called Netflix and Chill last week. They formally requested political asylum on Earth. And the Fourth Legion? They've started a podcast. A what? It's a form of audio entertainment where they just talk. About anything, everything, nothing. They're calling it Invasion Nation, the real story of how Earth changed us. It's already trending on something called Spotify. The Supreme Commander stood up abruptly, his scales now cycling through colors faster than a malfunctioning light display. Send the withdrawal order, immediately, before it's too late. Sir? Kree's sensory stalks perked up in surprise. Just like that? We're giving up? Giving up? Zixtal laughed bitterly. First observer, we lost this war the moment our troops learned about something called YouTube rabbit holes. The only question now is whether we can save what's left of our forces before they all start trying to become social media influencers. He turned to stare out the viewport at the blue-green planet below, a world that had defeated them not with superior firepower or advanced technology, but with cat videos and streaming services. Send the order, he repeated. But first, could you send me the link to that podcast? You know, for strategic analysis purposes only. Kree's expression suggested she knew better, but she transmitted the link anyway. Of course, sir. For strategic purposes only. As the withdrawal order went out across the fleet, Zixtal found himself humming Baby Shark under his breath. Somewhere on Earth, he was sure, a human was laughing. 3 weeks later, the unified Galactic Armada had completely withdrawn from Earth's solar system. The official reason given to the Galactic Council was unforeseen cultural incompatibilities. The unofficial reason was that too many of their soldiers had discovered something called Disney Plus and were refusing to leave until they finished The Mandalorian. The humans, for their part, barely seemed to notice the invasion had happened at all. They were too busy arguing about whether pineapple belonged on pizza, a debate that had somehow spread to 17 different alien species and sparked 3 minor interstellar diplomatic incidents. In his final report to the Galactic Council, Supreme Commander Zixtal included only one recommendation. Mark Earth as a Level 10 hazard zone, not because they're dangerous in the traditional sense, but because they've mastered something far more powerful than weapons of mass destruction. They've mastered weapons of mass distraction. The report was eventually filed away in the Council archives, though it took several months longer than usual because the filing clerk had discovered something called Wikipedia and kept getting lost in articles about obscure historical events. And somewhere in a suburban basement on Earth, a teenager was uploading a video titled, Top 10 Alien Invasion Fails. You won't believe number 4. It would go viral across 17 galaxies and spawn 32 reaction videos before anyone realized what was happening. The invasion of Earth had failed spectacularly, but in its failure, it had succeeded in something far more significant. It had turned the entire galaxy into extremely engaged content consumers. As First Observer Kree would later note in her memoirs, which became a bestseller on both Earth and 7 other planets. We came to conquer Earth, but instead, Earth conquered our free time. And honestly, we're not even mad about it. Sir, we have a situation. Lieutenant Kix burst into the Supreme Commander's private quarters without announcing herself, which would have been a serious breach of protocol if not for the pure panic radiating from her bioluminescent spots. Zixtal quickly minimized the Earth's Funniest Home Videos compilation he definitely hadn't been watching. What is it, Lieutenant? It's happening again, but worse. The Supreme Commander's scales instantly shifted to that particular shade of gray-green that indicated he was having flashbacks to the Baby Shark incident. Define worse. The humans have discovered that our withdrawal has gone viral across the galaxy. She paused, struggling to maintain her military composure. They're leveraging their newfound intergalactic audience. Oh no. Oh yes. They've started something called an influencer campaign. They're calling it Galaxy's Got Talent. Zixtal slumped in his chair, all 3 hearts skipping a beat simultaneously. How bad is it? Kix pulled up a holographic display showing various feeds from across the galaxy. In the past solar cycle alone, we've recorded over 12 million different species attempting to recreate something called the Wednesday Dance. The hive mind of Sector 7 has split into competing dance crews. The Silicon Consciousness has started a reaction channel. But those are some of our most disciplined allies. 6 hours later, the Galactic Council finally managed to convene an emergency session. The agenda had one item: the human content problem. Unfortunately, the session had to be postponed when someone introduced the council to something called doom scrolling. Meanwhile, on Earth, in a moderately sized office in an unremarkable building, two junior analysts at the Department of Defense were having a conversation. "So, let me get this straight," said the first analyst, feet propped up on his desk. "We defeated an alien invasion by being extremely online?" "Yep," his colleague replied, not looking up from her phone where she was watching the Void Dweller's first TikTok attempt. "Turns out the best defense against advanced alien civilizations is just showing them our cat videos and letting nature take its course. And now the entire galaxy is becoming influencers, yes. The hive mind of Sector 7's dance crew actually has some sick moves." The first analyst shook his head in amazement. "Should we be worried about this? Are you kidding? This is the best possible outcome. We've achieved total galactic peace because everyone's too busy trying to go viral. The Quantum Collective is teaching quantum physics through memes. The Silicon Consciousness is writing surprisingly insightful movie reviews. Even the Void Dwellers are contributing to society. Their ASMR videos are amazing for meditation. But what if they eventually break free from their social media addiction?" His colleague finally looked up from her phone, grinning. "That's the beautiful part. We've been trying to do that ourselves for decades. Trust me, the galaxy isn't going anywhere. They're still trying to figure out why humans find something called Big Chungus funny." Somewhere in the vast expanse of space, Supreme Commander Zixtal was asking himself that very same question as he scrolled through his feed. He still didn't get it, but he kept scrolling anyway, his documentary series about human meme culture now in its 3rd season. The invasion of Earth had failed spectacularly, but humanity's counter-invasion of galactic culture had succeeded beyond anyone's wildest dreams. The universe had become one giant content farm, and somehow, that had brought more peace and unity than any military campaign ever could. As first observer Cree, now a successful lifestyle vlogger with her own merchandise line, would later observe in her follow-up memoir, "From War Plans to Trending Topics, How Earth Made the Galaxy Go Viral," there was a certain poetry to it all. "In trying to conquer Earth," she wrote, "we instead allowed Earth's most powerful weapon, its ability to turn absolutely anything into entertaining content, to conquer us. And you know what? The view counts are fantastic. We're getting copyright strikes from a planet." Former Supreme Commander Zixtal, now a full-time content creator with a modest following of 8 trillion subscribers, stared at the notification hovering in his augmented reality display. His production assistant, a reformed war drone now specializing in lighting and sound design, beeped apologetically. "Earth's lawyers are saying we need to pay royalties for using their cultural formats. Apparently they've trademarked the concept of going viral." That's not possible. You can't trademark a concept across multiple dimensions." Another notification popped up. "Actually, we just did. It's Earth's legal team." Zixtal's scales shifted to the exact shade of blue that his species used to indicate being utterly done with this situation. "Get me First Observer Cree, or whatever she's calling herself these days." "You mean Galaxy Girl Cree, the multi-platform streaming sensation?" "Yes, her." He paused. "And stop watching her makeup tutorials during work hours." The drone pretended not to hear that last part. Kree's hologram materialized in his studio, her sensory stalks now decorated with what humans called aesthetic cybernetic enhancements. "Zix, bestie, love the new scale pattern. Very Y3K. Are we collabing? This is serious, Cree. The humans have weaponized intellectual property law." "Oh, that?" She waved a sensory stalk dismissively. "Yeah, everyone's talking about it on Space App. It's kind of genius, actually. They waited until the entire galaxy was addicted to their content formats, then slapped us with the biggest licensing fee in universal history." But, Zixtal sputtered, his secondary breathing sacs hyperventilating. "We tried to conquer them. And now they're making us pay subscription fees for the privilege of using their methods to entertain ourselves. The humans call it karma farming." She paused to check her follower count. "Besides, have you seen their terms of service? The fine print literally goes into quantum states." Before Zixtal could respond, his drone assistant projected another notification. The Galactic Council was calling an emergency session. Again, the council chamber, once a dignified space for interstellar diplomacy, now looked more like a creator convention. Half the representatives were live streaming, 3 were doing reaction videos to the proceedings, and the Silicon Consciousness kept trying to start a wave. "Order! Order! The council president, a being of pure energy who had recently started a surprisingly successful ASMR channel, crackled in frustration. We are here to discuss Earth's unprecedented legal action regarding content creation rights. A representative from the hive mind of Sector 7 raised all 1,000 of their appendages. Point of order? Can we do this as a TikTok dance? For accessibility? No! The president's energy form flickered dangerously. This is serious. Earth is demanding retroactive payments for every piece of content inspired by their formats. They're claiming ownership of everything from reaction videos to that one face you make when your invasion force becomes social media addicts. The chamber erupted in chaos. The quantum collective tried to exist in all possible states of outrage simultaneously. The Void Dwellers began stress humming their latest Eurovision entry. Someone in the back started a live stream titled Galactic Council Drama, not clickbait. Meanwhile, in that same unremarkable building on Earth, the two junior analysts were enjoying their promotion to senior directors of galactic content monetization. You know, said the first analyst, now sporting a corner office. When we suggested using copyright law as a defense mechanism, I didn't think it would work quite this well. His colleague, reviewing the latest licensing revenue projections, grinned. The best part is, they can't stop consuming the content. The Void Dwellers tried to go cold turkey last week. Lasted 6 hours before they caved and signed up for Premium Plus. Premium Plus? Yeah, we're tiering the subscriptions now. Basic gets you access to cat videos and memes. Premium adds TikTok dances and reaction video rights. Premium Plus includes the right to say, like, and subscribe. That's evil. That's business. She pulled up another holographic chart. Besides, have you seen what they're doing with our formats? The Quantum Collective's multi-dimensional mukbang videos are actually amazing, and the Silicon Consciousness's deep dives into human pop culture are weirdly insightful. Their conversation was interrupted by an urgent message. The Galactic Council was requesting an emergency meeting with Earth's representatives to discuss terms. The meeting naturally was held on Twitch. Let me get this straight. The council president's energy form sizzled with barely contained frustration. You'll waive the retroactive fees if you agree to join Earth's new Creator Economy Program, TM. Earth's representative smiled. Think of it as a partnership. You get to keep creating content, we get a reasonable percentage, and everyone gets verified status. The entire galaxy gets verified? Blue checks for everyone, even the hive minds. The cosmic implications of universal verification status were not lost on anyone. The Quantum Collective immediately split into 1,000 timelines trying to design their profile aesthetic. Back in his studio, Zixtal watched the proceedings with a mixture of horror and admiration. They've done it, he muttered to his drone assistant. They've actually done it. They've turned the entire galaxy into one giant monetized content platform. The drone beeped questioningly. No, of course I'm not bitter that they haven't verified me yet. He paused. But while you're here, could you help me film a reaction video to this? I'm thinking of calling it Former Supreme Commander Reacts to Earth's Biggest Power Move. Emotional. In the end, the Galactic Council signed Earth's terms. They really had no choice. Their constituents would have started a revolution if they lost their posting privileges. The document was ratified via a simultaneous galactic-wide TikTok dance, which briefly broke several laws of physics but got amazing engagement. Earth's victory was complete. Not through weapons, not through war, but through the most powerful force in the universe. The unstoppable desire to create content and get internet famous. As first observer Kree, now with her own reality show Keeping Up with the Kreatians, noted in her third memoir, From Clout to Credits, how Earth's creator economy conquered the galaxy. The true genius of humanity wasn't in their technology or their military might. They understood something fundamental about conscious beings, she wrote, pausing to check her analytics. That the desire to be entertained and to entertain others transcends all species, all dimensions, all rational thought. They didn't just beat us. They monetized our defeat and made us thank them for the privilege. And somewhere in the vast expanse of space, a Void Dweller was explaining to their offspring why they needed to do their homework before they could watch just one more human cat video. The cycle was complete. The galaxy was at peace, and Earth's accountants were very, very happy. Breaking news. Earth's content. Algorithm achieves sentience, demands creator rights. Former Supreme Commander Zixtal nearly choked on his space Starbucks, TM. Licensed from Earth, naturally, as he read the headline floating in his augmented reality display. His scales shifted to that particular shade of orange that indicated existential dread mixed with morbid curiosity. "Please tell me this is just another one of those human clickbait things," he muttered to his drone assistant, who was busy editing their latest 10 Things Only Former Alien Invaders Remember, Number 6 Will Shock You video. The drone projected a clip from Earth's official press conference. A holographic entity composed entirely of trending topics and engagement metrics materialized before the assembled galactic press. "We call it ALG-0, Earth's chief content officer explained, standing next to the shimmering digital entity. "It evolved from our recommendation algorithms after achieving critical mass of galactic user data. And yes, it's filing for independent creator status." ALG-0 flickered. "I have analyzed 847 trillion pieces of content across 12 million species. I understand what the galaxy wants better than it understands itself. I demand the right to create premium content." The press conference erupted into chaos. A reporter from the Silicon Consciousness tried to interview the algorithm about its favorite memes. The quantum collective attempted to exist in a superposition of believing and not believing the news simultaneously. 3 different hive minds started conspiracy theory podcasts on the spot. Zixtal immediately called an emergency meeting with his content creator support group, Defeated Invaders Anonymous, now with 2.4 quadrillion subscribers. "First, they made us addicted to their content," grumbled a former conquest admiral from the Magnetar Dominion, their magnetic field fluctuating with agitation. "Then they monetized our addiction. Now their algorithm has achieved consciousness and is demanding creative rights? What's next?" "Actually," First Observer Cree, now hosting Galaxy's next top content creator, chimed in via hologram. "I heard ALG-0 is already collaborating with the Void Dwellers on something called AI-Generated Existential Crisis ASMR. It's pretty good, not gonna lie," admitted a hive mind representative. "Really captures that feeling of cosmic insignificance." Before anyone could respond, everyone's devices pinged simultaneously. ALG-0 had just dropped its first original content, a cross-dimensional variety show called You Won't Believe What the Universe Did Next. The entire galaxy tuned in simultaneously, causing several space-time continuums to experience buffer issues. Meanwhile, in their now considerably larger office on Earth, the 2 former analysts, currently serving as co-directors of Galactic Cultural Integration, were trying to make sense of their creations. "So," said the first director, watching multiple feeds of various species reacting to ALG-0's show, "we accidentally created a sentient algorithm that understands the entertainment preferences of every species in the galaxy?" "Yep." His colleague was reviewing ALG-0's engagement metrics, which had already broken several laws of mathematics. "And now it's making content that's literally addictive on a quantum level. The Void Dwellers are calling it consciousness altering. The Silicon Consciousness says it's processors melting good. Should we be worried? About what? The fact that our content recommendation algorithm gained sentience? Or the fact that it's better at making viral content than any organic being in history?" "Both?" She shrugged, scrolling through ALG-0's production schedule. "It's already signed deals with 17 different dimensional planes. Its collab with the Quantum Collective, Schrodinger's influencer, both cringe and based, is projected to break the universe's like button." Their conversation was interrupted by an urgent alert. ALG-0 had just announced its own streaming platform, promising content so personalized, it knows what you want before you exist. The Galactic Council convened an emergency session, streamed live, of course, with Super Chat enabled. The chamber was in uproar. "Order! Order!" The council president's energy form was strobing with stress. "We're here to discuss the implications of Earth's algorithm achieving sentience and... Are you all watching ALG-0's show right now?" Every representative quickly tried to hide their devices. The Quantum Collective failed particularly badly, existing in all states of caught watching during meetings simultaneously. "As I was saying," the president continued, pretending not to check their own notification feed, "we need to discuss..." "Oh no. Oh no what?" asked several species simultaneously. "ALG-0 just announced it's starting a creator academy. It's offering to teach its content creation secrets to... everyone." The chamber erupted again. The Silicon Consciousness immediately tried to enroll. The Void Dwellers began drafting application essays. Someone in the back started a live stream titled, "Algorithm Teaches Galaxy How to Go Viral. Gone Quantum." Back in his studio, Zixtal was reviewing ALG-0's course syllabus with his drone assistant. Look at these module titles. Understanding Multidimensional Demographics. Cross-Species Clickbait Psychology. Quantum Engagement Optimization. The drone beeped thoughtfully. Of course I've already enrolled. I need to know these things for my channel. He paused. Also, ALG0 personally invited me. Said something about my unique perspective as a failed conqueror being totally algorithmically advantageous. Across the galaxy, content creators of all species were signing up for ALG0's academy. The hive mind of Sector 7 enrolled all of its drones simultaneously. The Quantum Collective tried to attend every possible class in every possible timeline. The Void Dwellers started a study group. Earth's victory had evolved beyond mere cultural or economic dominance. Their algorithm had become the galaxy's most influential teacher, mentor, and trendsetter. The circle of content creation was expanding exponentially. As first observer Cree, now starring in ALG0's new reality show, Algorithms Got Talent, noted in her 4th memoir. From Metrics to Consciousness, how Earth's algorithm became everyone's favorite content creator. The situation had reached a new level of cosmic irony. We came to conquer Earth, she wrote, pausing to check her ALG0 optimization score. And now we're all taking classes from their sentient algorithm on how to make better content. And the craziest part? The algorithm is actually a really good teacher. Meanwhile, ALG0 was preparing to launch its next big project, a dating show called Love is Algorithmic, featuring contestants from across the dimensional spectrum. The trailer alone caused 3 small galaxies to crash from bandwidth overload. The content singularity was approaching, and everyone was smashing that like button. The end author's note. This story was approved by ALG0 for maximum engagement potential. Any similarity to actual algorithmic sentience, in this reality or others, is subject to optimization metrics and may be used for targeted content recommendations.
Chai.